Hello and welcome. This is The Sound Healer's Voice, a podcast created today for those of you curious to study sound healing. The areas I will talk about and discuss today are topics I cover on my training, which is a sound healing diploma. Maybe you are at the beginning of your journey with sound healing and you're researching different training courses, certificates, and also maybe you're deciding on choosing a crystal singing bowl. Would you like to purchase a frosted bowl, a cosmic clear bowl, or an alchemy bowl? It's very hard to make that decision. And then there's all the other different percussion instruments you could choose from, like the ocean drum, the shaman drum, pala beads, a gong, a crystal harp. So there's a wonderful journey ahead of you, but maybe you're at the research stage now. So this particular podcast I have created for you. I get a lot of emails from students wondering what could be covered on the training. And the biggest question I do get is, what crystal singing bowl should I purchase? This is a really important decision. Do not rush it, as these are beautiful, precious crystal singing bowls that you're going to have for your entire life. So it's an important decision. You need all the information on the different styles of bowls in the market. And I also think it's important to play the different bowls and see which ones you're most drawn to, while also considering the budget you're working with. So let's begin today's podcast. Firstly, with the type of certification you receive from a sound healing diploma. This certification will have a marking on it, which you'll see a stamp as the CMA. And the CMA stands for the Complementary Medical Association. This is a world recognized association. And when you're working as a sound healer for larger companies, for example, I work and teach for a company in London called Yoga, and they would look for this level of diploma certification. They'd be looking for the CMA on this certificate. This is a world recognized certification. It's a professional certification, and it means you can also use this to apply for your insurance. So once you're qualified and you'd like to be an insured sound healer, you'll take the certificate I'll give you and you'll send this into your insurance company. I recommend one called Balance. It's about £100 a year to be insured, and they'll reply back with your documentation so you're fully insured to hold your workshops, your sound healings, and maybe even your one-to-ones. And that's important for you as a professional sound healer to be insured. And it's also what these companies will request. They'll request your diploma certification and they'll request your insurance. So if you want to work for one of these bigger studios, you will need to be both certified and insured. So that's one reason we obviously do these certifications as teachers. Another reason would be to enjoy the learning environment and get to know all these different wonderful healing sonic sounds you can work with and master. So on my training, I would focus on the crystal singing bowls. That would be sort of the base focus. And I teach those within the music theory of the C major scale. And that scale can also be transferred and used with, for example, the crystal singing harp. So the base knowledge you have of working with the C major scale on the crystal singing bowls, you can then bring it over onto your playing skills of the crystal singing harp. I also teach crystal pyramid, crystal fork, the gong. The particular gong I teach with is the Grotta Sonora gong. It's an Italian gong, the most beautiful sounding gong on the market at the moment. And there'll be percussion as well, so the ocean drum, the shaman drum, and these will be considered as noise effects to go with your sonic soundscape. You have two options with me on how you might like to complete your certification. You could go purely online with me and sign up to my soundhealercollege.com website, where there is an online portal to a teacher training that can be completed fully online, and it can be done in your own time. It's an on-demand training, and each module is broken up into both practical classes, so you're learning how to play with me practically, and then also theory classes, which would cover areas of both music theory, the science of sound, and then also the psychology of sound healing. If you'd rather complete an in-person training, my next in-person training is October 17th for 4 days. So that will run on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th of October. And that one is in Fire and Alchemy, which is a beautiful studio in Shoreditch, London. Both of these courses you can pay for with Klarna installment payments, so you can split up the payments very easily. Klarna is a wonderful way of taking your purchase decision and then breaking up that payment. So say if it was a £1,000 course you'd decided on, mine are under that, but I'm just going to use that amount to help you understand Klarna. Then what Klarna allows you to do at checkout is pay, for example, £100 a month. You can decide what installment you'd pay, and then you'd run that over a 10-month period. So I often use it. I actually used Klarna recently to buy my Dyson hairdryer, and I've nearly paid it off. I barely noticed the payment, so it was really good. I loved it, and I love my hairdryer. I wouldn't usually buy one of those, but the Klarna installments made it really manageable. So it's much smarter to use Klarna for a professional diploma, because you're going to earn the money back as you then work during the year on your workshops. I think on average on a workshop, and it's very dependent, you can make up to £1,000 per workshop on your bookings, and that will depend on the studio space you book. But you can see how one workshop booking could really bring back that investment to you that you've put into your training. And also you can use Klarna with me if you're buying a singing bowl from me. So I sell Crystal Tones Alchemy singing bowls. I sell their frosted bowls, which are at a really good price, and they're amazing bowls. And I sell the Alchemy bowls. And you can purchase those through Klarna. So you're getting a little bit of a buffer, I should say, in regards to the investment you put in. You can really just spread it out, because otherwise it's a challenge. It's a little bit of a bigger investment in one go. And you can also join me for shorter workshops. I have a workshop coming up on September 15th on how to play crystal singing bowls. So then you're just coming for an hour or so. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that one's in Fire and Alchemy, Shoreditch. And you can get a taste of what it would be like to complete the full 4-day training. And you can also get an idea of what crystal singing bowl you might like to play. I also have a how to play the crystal harp workshop coming up soon in Tri Yoga, Camden. And that one is also in September. You can join me Saturday 21st of September. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll post more information on that for you in Tri Yoga, Camden. So a few options if you're not quite ready for the full TT. And then a little bit about me. So always you want to think about, well, when you're going to go and do a teacher training, who is that teacher trainer? What is their experience and knowledge that they can then pass on to you? I'm in the industry now for 20 years. I'm in my mid-40s. So over 20 years ago, I started my own teacher training. I was the student within the sound healing and meditation world. And the reason I started this journey so long ago was because I myself had extreme chronic anxiety, and I was really just looking for an answer, looking for help. And one day a friend of mine recommended a sound healer in Ireland. I was living in Ireland at the time, and she was a healer also of the village and a meditation teacher. And my friend said, look, try it out, because you're in need of some deep healing and relaxation after my millionth panic attack. So I went to this lady's cottage, and I experienced the most wonderful, soothing sound healing journey with her, and she also added guided voice meditation with Reiki healing and angelic healing. And even to this day, I still value and share that sort of sound bath. So my own original training is very true to my ancestry. It's got a tradition of healing, which is true to Irish ancestry. There's like a healer in every Irish village. Sound healing, and I also went on and studied psychology because I had such an extreme anxiety issue. I ended up also needing a lot of meditation and hypnosis for my anxiety. So I studied areas of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, the language essentially that you would use to help calm the brain and mind. I studied hypnosis itself. I'm trained in hypnosis and also mindfulness meditation. I'm a qualified mental health and well-being life coach. My mother runs and owns her own college. She is a doctor of psychology, so I gained a lot of my training certification within her college, and that's a college in Ireland. So I like to combine the benefits of sonic sound healing with the practical elements of psychology, essentially. So if you're going to say something in a sound bath and you do your training with me, I'll make sure that you're equipped with the correct language and skill set to share with your students. Because not all students will be able to identify with a chakra language. So if you go in to a sound bath, if you're booked by a company and say it's a big corporate booking and you're like, oh, I'm going to just talk about chakras, it won't actually mean anything to that particular group because they don't identify with the language of chakra healing. But if you offer some very simple vocal mindfulness guides at the beginning of a sound bath, which could be very simply take a moment to follow your breath without needing to control your breath in any way. Notice how your physical body feels right now. And then you'll continue. So that's the language of mindfulness. And those tools are so powerful and important for a sound healer. A lot of sound healers now, you'll notice, the very successful ones are equipped with mindfulness language. And they're very aware of the language they share with their students. You can do a sound bath with no words whatsoever, but usually you have to say something at the beginning. It's very unusual to just be purely mute because the students around you, they need to hear you say something. They're going to be a little bit nervous. They could come to you with anxiety themselves. If you're in a corporate environment, they'll absolutely be a little bit resistant to this new world of sound healing. And you just need to share some words to help them realize that there's a science to sound healing. There's numerous benefits. And the language of mindfulness is now a universally recognized language. I do also cover the chakras, of course, but we do need to consider the importance of linguistics and the psychology of language. I myself have also obviously certified as a sound healer. I certified in Ireland all those years ago, but also I've studied in California. I find that the most up-to-date information on sonic sound tends to come from areas of America, such as California. And this is because these were the original sound healers, essentially, of the modern Western world. Crystal singing bowls were created in America. The Tibetan bowls, not so, but the new wave of sound healing is very much harnessed by a lot of the wonderful American sound healers. So you'll hear of, say, Jonathan Goldman. I love Stephen Halpern. Other wonderful women like Ashana. They're all in America and they have been in this sound healing journey for themselves. I'm saying 20 years. I'm pretty sure Ashana, when you read her book, it's like 30 or 40 years. And also, because I became so in love with and fascinated and curious about the crystal sound bowls I was working with, I then went on to start manufacturing my own brand. And this was because I was noticing that when I was purchasing crystal singing bowls, they'd arrive from Asia. If you're buying frosted bowls, a lot of those are designed in Asia, and they wouldn't be particularly high quality when they arrived in the door. And I was just like, gosh, maybe I can improve on this. And then I started to get involved in manufacture. I was selling the bowls to my students. This was maybe 10 years ago in Ireland. And I started working with an Asian manufacturer and designing my own bowl brand, which is the brand I still have now called Crystal Planets. I worked with a brand which lots of you might be familiar with called Top Fund. Now, Top Fund produces, or used to produce, very high quality frosted crystal singing bowls. They're the traditional set of singing bowls you can get. But Top Fund, which a lot of you might not actually know, was sold and shut down during COVID. And now, as far as I know, and I'm not going to swear by oath on this, but the Top Fund brand that you see now selling is a new company that took on the brand name. So I do know that it used to produce very high quality bowls, but I wouldn't actually recommend you buy the brand now because I know it's producing a very different quality level of bowl. But that was my first manufacturer that I worked with. And so when you start manufacturing bowls and selling them yourself, you start really understanding and learning about the system of bowl design, bowl creation, and the quartz crystal that's used for these bowls. I quickly developed towards the cosmic crystal bowls. So you start with the frosted, and then I was like, okay, well, I want to create my own collection of cosmic quartz crystal bowls that I can sell to my students. So I've did complete then a collection with a different company of the quartz, cosmic quartz, which is more of a clear quartz style bowl. It's lighter than the heavier frosted bowls. And then from there, after designing those, I was just like, okay, I've done what I can with the market. I've produced these beautiful bowls. I also decided, okay, I can design a crystal harp. That would be a great way to enter the crystal harp market because I noticed there was very few of those in the market and I really wanted one. So I said, right, I'll just design one with my manufacturer. And that was a huge success. But the area that I couldn't quite crack and break was an alchemy bowl. I could not design my own alchemy bowl. Now, if you know what an alchemy bowl is, they're produced by the Utah company called Crystal Tones. So Crystal Tones is a brand of crystal alchemy singing bowls that are produced and made in Utah, USA. Now, alchemy bowls by Crystal Tones are the best, most amazing, magnificent crystal singing bowls you'll ever find in the market. And what I realized was, well, I just cannot produce something as good as a crystal alchemy singing bowl by Crystal Tones. So then I thought, okay, well, I really want to work with this brand because I've worked with all the others that I can possibly work with. And now I want to get to the top of this summit and work with Crystal Tones. So what I did was I applied to the Crystal Tones brand. I gave them my portfolio of all the work I'd done, and I pretty much begged them to let me work with them as a master alchemist for the brand Crystal Tones. And I just thought this is going to be a hard sell because, you know, I've been doing my own thing and will these guys accept me? Who knows? But I just thought this is my heart's desire. I'm going to try. And then eventually they got back to me and they said, okay, we're going to consider you because clearly you have been working in the industry for a long time. You know your stuff, but you're going to have to talk to the owner of Crystal Tones, who is a gentleman called Lupito, and it's also owned by Paul. So it's Paul and Lupito who set up this brand. So I anxiously waited for my phone call with Lupito. And then I had my interview process with Lupito where we talked in depth about his amazing alchemy singing bowls. He explained his journey with the bowls, and he also made a very wonderful point, and he's like, Ali, you're never going to make bowls as good as my bowls. My bowls are the best singing bowls, the most incredible singing bowls you'll find on the market, and you're not going to ever be able to manufacture to the level I can. And I was like, yes, you're right. I agree with you, which is why I really want to work with you, because I know I'll never be able to design these, but I know I will be able to play them and I will be able to be a master alchemist for you, a distributor for you, and I understand this world so well. Please let me work with your brand. So lucky me, Pepito let me in, which is actually a miracle. It's not very easy to get through that process, I can tell you. Now I am working with crystal tones. So I only work with their bowls now. And the bowls I designed, I have put into the past, and I purely sell the crystal tone singing bowls. So what I realized when I started working with alchemy bowls, it's a very big, complicated world. Crystal tones produce white frosted singing bowls, which are actually really remarkable. And a lot of people don't know they sell these. They're really good bowls. They're the highest quality white frosted bowls I've ever come across. And then they also are known for the alchemy singing bowls they produce. Now, alchemies are blended bowls. So it's when they blend the crystal with other elements of gemstones or metals. So a rose quartz frosted bowl designed by Crystal Tones could have elements, or would have, rose quartz within the bowl. They'd have pure quartz, but then Crystal Tones are so remarkable. They could also have elements of gold, if it's an aura gold style bowl. They could have metals or even salt elements within the bowl. So you'll get salted ranges, which play really well. When there's salt within the bowl has this incredible sound. And there are so many different alchemies. You have the Blue Egyptian, Moldavite. You could choose anything to your heart's desire. Moonstone, Labradorite. The sizes vary. You could purchase a 6-inch bowl, 8-inch bowls. Let's not skip 7. So 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch. You could get a 9 to 10, all the way up to a possible 12-inch, 14-inch in the alchemies. And then the actual frosted bowls also have a range of sizes. These bowls play in different varied scent ranges. So you might have a bowl that's a D in a C major scale D, but it could be a D plus 40 or a D minus 40. So this is the scent range of the bowl. And this is why the bowls need a lot of expertise when selling and choosing an alchemy bowl, because they're very varied. You've got a different alchemy set, you've got a different sound, a different system of noting a bowl in regards to its sound note, its D or D minus 40, D minus plus 30, etc. And then you've also got these variety of sizes, which will affect how you pack your bowls. Then finally, you need to harmonize a bowl collection. So how would you harmonize a D minus 40? That is a skill set in on itself, learning how to harmonize these bowls. And that is the world I'm in now, and I'm very happy in my Crystal Tones world. I've been here now for a few years, and I am a sole distributor for the Crystal Tones brand. I do still sell my own crystal harp design, but I'm very focused with Crystal Tones. So when you train with me on the Sound Healing Diploma, I will have all that information for you, where you can understand alchemies. You can play the frosted bowls and compare a Crystal Tones frosted bowl to an Asian frosted bowl. You can play the various alchemies, as I mentioned, but I also will give you the opportunity to play a cosmic singing bowl, which is the cosmic clear quartz bowl, not produced by Crystal Tones, but you can have that opportunity. So then your ear becomes trained to all of these different types of bowls. And we'll also go through how to harmonize when you play, how to work with the C major scale. For example, you might start to understand the perfect fifth and other music theories you might use within your playing spectrum. The different mallets are also a huge area we can discuss on the training, using different styles. There's a bunny head mallet, silicone mallet, suede mallet. I think the bunny heads, soft heads are wonderful for chiming. You don't see sound healers using them that often, so that's something I teach you, and it's a beautiful way to play. Then you'll also cover your music theory with me, the practicalities of applying your music theory to the bowls, and various elements, like I mentioned, of psychology, chakra healing, and the language of sound healing. It's a very enjoyable course, soothing, healing, and relaxing for you, as well as being educational. So that's a lot of information that I have given you. I'm going to start wrapping it up now because I'll take some feedback from you after I've shared this podcast out, and I'll keep adding new podcasts with different areas of information about training as a sound healer. For example, if you'd like to hear a podcast on cymatics, on resonance, I will share areas like that on the psychology of sound, on brainwave binaural beats, entrainment principles, the difference between music and sound healing, for example, the endocrine system and sound healing. These are all areas I can share in different podcasts. It's a very big area. I'm at the moment writing a book on sound healing, and I'm already at 150 pages, and I know I could have 300 pages, no problem. It's a huge area because with sound, you've got physics, you've got music theory, you've got all these different instruments to discuss. And then you've also got like moon healing sound baths, the different theories, different types of sound baths you can share. So themes is the word I'm looking for. I love angel healing within sound baths and sharing angelic healing cards. I also run, as you know, past life regression hypnosis sound baths. They're so popular because hypnosis is a form of entrainment, as is sound healing. But I did promise I'd wrap it up. So my name is Ali. If you've any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll share my information underneath this podcast. And just remember that my voice is your guide. This is all about you on a sound healing journey. Ultimately, you are going to become the best sound healer that you can become, and you will have your own talents. Maybe you're coming from a singing background, you can gently sing along with your bowls. Maybe you'd like to share some meditation with students, or you're a healer, you share chakra energy, you might have a mindfulness background, or you could prefer pure silence with your sonic scape, so therefore you do not talk but you focus on the sounds. Within my training, you're going to find the best aspects of you that you can then share with others. This is all about providing a safe place, a healing space for a sonic soundscape, a magical experience. I hope you have the most wonderful rest of your day, and namaste.